Welcome to California Unearthed. I have an exciting update to talk to you guys about on a video that I did a few years ago called Oak Bottom Ambush. In that video, I talk about two young ladies who unfortunately lost their lives to a jealous husband. The husband, Henry Seffel. The two women, his wife, Edith Seffel, and her mother, Nellie McKay. And at the time, I believe that those two women were buried at the General Hospital Cemetery on Breslauer Way here in Redding, California. But in the last few days, my buddy Jeremy Tuggle was out here at Clear Creek Cemetery doing some find the grave exploration when he found two markers with the name Seffel and McKay. He found them out here at Clear Creek Cemetery. Now you're probably wondering to yourself, what are they doing out here and not the General Hospital Cemetery as I thought to begin with? We'll get into that. So we're going to go visit Nellie McKay and Edith Seffel and pay our respects. Come join me. All right, let's start this off by talking a little bit about Clear Creek Cemetery. This is also known as Shasta General Hospital number 2. And it is a pretty good sized cemetery. I don't know if you can see the fence line or not. Basically where those trees are over there. And it goes back behind those trees. And then over to there. And obviously this chain link fence needs some work. But this cemetery was created in 1948 because the original General Hospital Cemetery was in disrepair as far as the burials were beginning to have problems. It was a high water table and the caskets were beginning to float in the graves. And so they needed to solve that problem. So they created this cemetery here. Now, if you notice, there are no markers out in this area out here. I don't know if there are burials out here or not. I have not found any information in my research that indicates whether there is or not, or if they moved anybody from the original General Hospital Cemetery. I'm assuming they did because Edith and Nellie are here and they were originally at the other cemetery. So they obviously were moved because they passed away in 1926. This cemetery wasn't established until 1948 by Shasta County. Now, the markers that we do have in this cemetery are all in this section over here between the fence and about right here, and then it goes all the way back to the back of the fence there. And most of them are just the tin markers that you see right here. Now, let me get a closer shot. But we do have one headstone over here. Little girl. Like I said, they go all the way back to the fence.
As you wander through these graves, you'll find 3 markers labeled unknown for both name and date, along with a handful of pre-1949 markers as well, indicating that these individuals were moved from another cemetery at some point in time. More than likely, that cemetery was Shasta General Hospital number 1. Now, I've checked the obituaries on a few of these markers and have verified that yes, they were initially buried at Shasta General Hospital number 1. Notably, the first burial here at this cemetery was that of Chester Lester Larson, who passed away on January 24th, 1949, and the last official county burial was that of Baby Hayes, who passed away on February 28th, 1953. Shasta County ceased using this cemetery for burials in 1953, opting instead to bury the indigent community of Shasta County at Reading Memorial Park or Longcrest Cemetery, although there are a few burials here after 1953, all the way up into the 1980s. It was also in 1953 that the cemetery changed its name from the County Cemetery, or General Hospital No. 2, to Clear Creek Cemetery. This cemetery served as the third and final county cemetery for Shasta County. The first was located on hospital property in Shasta at the present intersection of Highway 299 and Rock Creek Road. The second was that of Shasta General Hospital No. 1 on Breslauer, which is now the Shasta County Maintenance Yard. And the third and final site was this one here on Clear Creek Road. Both of the first two cemeteries were located on county hospital property. All three cemetery locations primarily served the indigent community of Shasta County, that is, the poor or those without any known family to claim their remains, such as miners or dam workers who lived here in Shasta County by themselves and had no known family. 3 mortuary companies were contracted on a rotating basis to handle the burials for Shasta County, charging the county $75 per burial. However, there were some issues with these mortuary companies. When burials began here in January of 1949, the mortuary companies were burying individuals wherever they chose here on the property, as the county supervisor failed to have a plot map or survey map and burial grid completed for the cemetery. In April of 1949, the county supervisors mandated the completion of a plot map and grid system for this cemetery to resolve that issue. This is the original plot map for Clear Creek Cemetery dated 1949, and I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Tracy with the Resource Management Department of Shasta County for taking the time and actually diving deep into the digital files of Shasta County to be able to find this for us. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Tracy. Now, I don't know how well you can read the plot map here on this video, but there's some interesting details I want to point out. Obviously, as you see, there are 12 lots in the cemetery, but at the very bottom, right in the middle, in very small writing, it gives the dimensions of each grave plot, which was 5 feet by 9 feet, which helps give the dimensions for each one of these lots. The lots range from 35 feet to 40 feet wide and from 80 feet to 155 feet long. Now, the dimensions for the entire cemetery was 200 feet wide by 370 feet long, about 1.7 acres of land. Now, if you look at that today, this is not obviously 1.7 acres of land. So that original cemetery does not exist today. It is a much smaller version of what was originally planned. Now, the other 2 documents I have here are close-up views of Lot A and Lot D, and there you can see some names on here. These are not all the names of the people that are interred here. There's about 60 people interred here that I know of so far, and this is just a glimpse of who is here. In June of 1949, the 3 mortuary companies approached the county supervisor's office requesting an increase in pay from $75 per burial to $85 per burial, while the cost for stillborns and infants was decreased to $45. This proposal was approved by the county supervisors. Shasta County Coroner Claude Whiteman was critical to mortuary companies. When Coroner Whiteman was asked by the county supervisors if the decedent had any money at the time of their passing, was that money used to cover some of the $75 burial fee, Coroner Whiteman indicated if the decedent had any money at the time of their passing, that money was used to improve the casket or burial arrangements because of the poor conditions in which these individuals were buried. Coroner Claude Whiteman remarked to the county supervisor's office, and I quote, "You should see the box. You can put your fist right through it. They bury them like dogs." What a sad and disturbing fact to uncover while researching this project. But on the positive side of things, Coroner Whiteman did do the honorable thing by trying to give some of these individuals a more respectful burial by increasing the quality of their caskets or burial arrangements when possible. Something else I think about as I walk around looking at these nameplates is how many of these have been knocked over or have fallen over since 1949. A lot of times, a lot of the infants and stillborns are not reported in the newspaper. So there's a good possibility that there may be some burials out here that we do not have record of. The only way to find out is to come out here with a metal detector to see if we can discover any unknown tin markers.
But we are here to visit Edith and Nellie, who are supposedly right here. This is their final resting place from what it looks like. These markers are not almost 100 years old, and they've obviously been fixed. If you look at the back of them, they have new screws in them and rebar holding them up. But this is absolutely amazing that Jeremy came across these two and got a hold of me. Thank you so much, Jeremy. This is awesome. And I know that Cheryl and I will be coming out here to take care of these crosses, stencil the names on there a little bit better. Now, the question I have is this really where they are resting? Because those two markers look awfully close. I'm assuming so with what I said earlier. Before 1949, they were just placing people kind of willy-nilly around here. And these two were moved from the Shasta General Hospital, and it doesn't match that pattern that they have there from the plot map that was recorded with the county recorder in 1949. And luckily today, I actually have my friend Cheryl with me, who was in the original Oak Bottom Ambush video, who is related to these two young ladies by marriage. It was her uncle, Henry Seffel, who shot both of these women. So let's get Cheryl's view on this.
I am absolutely thrilled that we were able to find them. Thank you again, Jeremy, for finding them. It always kind of saddened me knowing that when Robert and I were doing the first Oak Bottom Ambush video, we could not find them in the first hospital graveyard. And now that we know that they're here, I'm thrilled. Ashamed of what my great uncle did, but that was in the past. But again, I'm going to make sure that these are taken care of. I was just talking to Robert. I want to try to amp these up a little bit more to pay right respects to these ladies who lost their lives. But again, absolutely thrilled to be here. Absolutely thrilled to know that they are here where we can maintain them and just know that hopefully maybe that they are at peace.
Awesome. Thank you. These two young ladies are native, Wintu natives. Most of their family is buried in the Hayfork Cemetery. Edith's first husband, Harry Vaughn, is buried at the Hayfork Cemetery. And like Cheryl said, we're going to definitely make sure that these crosses are taken care of from this point on. That way, these women can be remembered. I will definitely be letting Cheryl's family members know that we have now found their grandmother and great-grandmother. Now, another interesting thing, Clear Creek is just on the other side of the road facing me right here. These ladies were on their way back home in Oak Bottom, which is now Whiskeytown Lake. They were washing clothes at Clear Creek when they were shot, and they are now laid to rest very close to that same creek, just miles away. That's it for this episode of California Unearthed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this amazing update that we were able to give to you on the Oak Bottom ambush. I am thrilled beyond belief that we have found these two. And so like Cheryl said before, we're going to definitely make sure that these are taken care of in the future. So we'll see you guys on next episode.